Yeah, Professor, I would like to hear your views on whether or not you think that fear of trade by developing countries is in fact a symptom of inadequate fiscal policies. And I'm asking that because I think that a lot of developing countries implement protectionist measures because of the fear of loss of revenue from trade taxes as a result of liberalization. And if that is the case, then what lessons are there to be learned from the Asian tigers' experience?
That's a very good question, actually, in the sense that many of the African countries are dependent, and this is true of generally developing countries, that because their fiscal systems were not developed, you had a situation where if you were to eliminate taxes, tariffs, which was the point at which you could collect revenue, that you would in fact face the possibility of a loss of revenue, and therefore your public expenditures would be compromised, okay? So that's a very good question, but when you look at it, there are a whole lot of quotas, for instance, to which this would not apply, because quotas, the rents go to the people to whom you give, your brother-in-law, your son-in-law, or your etc. That's what it's called in political economy literature. Secondly, there is also the Laffer curve problem. If you have high tariffs, people will evade them. When you bring in lower tariffs, you actually will get more revenue. Now, there are studies. There's one study which I think in the World Bank, which I quote in my book, which shows that the Laffer curve effect, meaning you will get more revenue by reducing trade tariffs. That's actually what they find. I think Devarajan was one of the co-authors. So I would say this is something which we need to pay attention to. There's no question about it. And on that also, Bretton Woods conditionality has frequently been very different. Traditionally, I don't know what it is now. But in the old days when you were in trouble or you were trying to develop, if you got a crisis, you went to the World Bank for help. The World Bank would say, here is a good chance to get you to do the reforms, i.e. change your tariff policy and be less protectionist. And if you went to the IMF, it was really different because in IMF it was a stabilization crisis, right? Excess expenditure. So they said, don't reduce your tariffs, just like you're saying. So I don't think there's a general answer here. It depends on the specifics of the situation.